So when I introduced myself as an entrepreneur, he said, "Oh, you are unemployed." Typical 3-second happiness on the social media, but there is like remaining 23 hours something, 23 hours of sadness or 23 hours of efforts. I don't want to share my problems with other people because I don't want him to carry my weight. Instagram has been paying these people like crores of packages. What is their work? To make you addict. College is a place to experiment, not to study. Put your health as one number. If you take out this one number, the health all gets zero.
Assalamualaikum people listening and watching, you are tuning into the LETSWALK podcast. I'm your host Atar Rahman, and today, if you can see, Namahol, Naya Jaga, and today we are going to chat with the one and only Karthik Nagpuri.
So Karthik, thank you for the hospitality and everything, and thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure. Yeah.
So Karthik, why don't you tell people about how we came to know about each other? Why don't you let me start off with a story. So we are in second year, and for the people who don't know, we are from Anurag University, and we have this big fest. It's called Daksha. So this gentleman over here, he raised around 8 lakh rupees from sponsors in a span of 14 days. Led the event to success. It was a phenomenal event, and every other day I'm hearing this name Karthik Nagpuri. And then after like couple of days, we have this entire Daksha photo, and we go to the A block lawn, and then I see this guy. He's with a tattoo and everything, and he's like, guys, let's pose for a photo. And that's how I came to know. And then we had mutual friends and everything, and now we work on a similar project, which I'm not going to reveal now. But then so how did you come to know about me, and then we sitting here together?
We've been in the same event. We've been working for the TEDx where we got connected, and we got connected by another person called Shiva, where you've been hosting your podcast since it's been so long. That's from 2020, right?
Yeah.
So you just requested for the podcast. I've gone through the entire portfolio. You've been completely consistent for 600 days, more than 600 days, mailing like more than like 300 to 400 people. I've gone through your entire profile. You've been working on something beyond your academic works and everything. So that's where I got to know. I gone through your entire profile, putting a lot of efforts, not just in the academics, but competing with the real-time world, which is moving very rapidly and at insane speed. You're trying to compete with the same speed, which is lovely.
And finally we are sitting over here together. So why don't you tell people about how you, like, when you joined college, or let's start from school. So you already know, okay, I'm going to become the Karthik Nagpuri. You already know, okay, I'm going to become entrepreneur. Or did you
know what entrepreneur is when you are in school?
Never. I've been never into any corporate kind of school. I've been not into any private school. My entire school was during my complete government institutions all. So I thought like building some sort of company. I never heard of this startup, entrepreneurship, all this. But when I came into my college, I got into like many multiple clubs, ED cell and different coding clubs, all these things. So that's where the lockdown happened. I got to know all these buzzwords called the startup, which is very tricky in this world, which is completely overhyped in the modern world.
So do you think college clubs, being part of different clubs, like you said, EDC is there, you're part of Literacy as well, and different other clubs. So do you think that kind of helped you in becoming who you are today?
Definitely. So when I was in the college, the first day, I'm the kind of person who has no confidence, not able to speak any single word of English, and not having this level of confidence coming onto the camera and speaking, engaging with other people. Because what I came from the background is completely the typical English medium schools, but we never taught that English classes in our college or school. But in fact, they taught many other skills like building the confidence, how to live your own. One of the best lessons I learned from my college days, college doesn't matter. It's all matter how we can survive in this real world. So in the college, I'm the kind of person who is not able to speak. These college clubs help me in able to build this connection with the people, able to talk, able to groom myself. So so definitely it helps a lot. Beyond, if you go, these are the kind of connections which will you take for your lifelong.
Do you think that also opened up opportunities, because the clubs are where people from different departments they will come, different backgrounds, different years as well. So that is not like whether when you're in a class, it's usually like people of second year or third year. But do you think joining clubs have open up opportunities for you?
When you're in the class, you get the limited amount of resources, limited amount of knowledge. When you go beyond your class, outside of your class, you will able to get new kind of friendships, new thought process, new perspectives onto the world. You will get the kind of energies who is having the same kind of energy you are carrying it. So in the clubs, we are the kind of people who learn like time management, who learn like hustling, multi skills, and changing multiple roles and hats within the less amount of span of time, which you don't typically get in the classroom and within the four walls, limited four walls.
Did you already when you came to college, like you said, you were introduced to this new idea, and the world of entrepreneurship is very, we can use the word, there is no guarantee.
Yes.
And and on one side you have a job, and one side you have entrepreneurship. There's no guarantee over here. You can be an utter failure, you can be a great success. Here everything is constant. What made you skip college? What made you, instead of go party out with friends, and you are like, no, I want to become an entrepreneur, and no, I want to become, I want to get into this entrepreneurship. I want to figure this out.
Yes. When I had this tag on my name in the initial days, like I want to become an entrepreneur, there is one guy when I met this person, I don't remember the guy. So when I introduced myself as an entrepreneur, he said, "Oh, you are unemployed." So what? So just I cross-checked. Yes, we are unemployed. We've been working through provide some sort of value, leveraging with some profit on that. But coming to the real world life scenario, I'm not from any financial or business background. That's where I got to realize that I need to learn many things: how organization works, how company deals with the many other people in the market. So then I left all my entities, like what been I working since from 4 or 5 years, left all the entities and joined a full-time job. So I wanted to experience what exactly working in the field. So then I will start my marathon. So I'm not in a hurry to go and raise like million amounts of funding. It's not like that. You are in a long marathon. Your vision is too high. So in order to do that, you need to run a long way. For that, you need to have this wisdom, the knowledge, real-time knowledge.
I believe that yourself now working at Blue Cafe, we can go into the detail in a bit, but I think that kind of puts you with players who have already run the race, so now they will be able to better guide you. And with that, I want to slide into, like I said, I checked up with some of your friends, and they said, Karthik Nagpuri was the guy who came into first year. He said, "Bhai, kaise," and everything, and then suddenly we noticed something. He used to have a phone, and then few months later, then he used to change a phone, and then again change a phone, and we used to think like, "ये क्या कर रहा भाई?" लेकिन कुछ कर रहा बोल के. And now, like few months back, we see your Instagram story. You're in freaking Dubai. You're like sitting in front of Burj Khalifa. Water goes into your phone. You're like yo, what's up guys? बोल के. So people see this thing. What are people missing?
There is a lot, not just me. There are like people who are saying that, many people who are enjoying on the Instagram or the social media, what they are actually seeing on the screen, it's completely false, or completely there is something you're not seeing beside the screen, right, or behind the screen. I'm sorry. So there is a lot of efforts, there is a lot of overnight hard work they've been working through, there is a lot of loneliness they've been carrying. So there is one saying that the higher improvement you go, the higher you go, the loner you get. The lesser friends you got to dissolve, like all these things happen. And whatever we share on the social media, it's like kind of like typical 3-second happiness on the social media. But there is like remaining 23 hours of sadness, or 23 hours of efforts we've been putting through. Not just me, there are like people who are hustling, who are being upskilling. There is a lot of things going in the market after this lockdown. Yeah, people been realizing that, and never judge a guy who's posting that 2 seconds reels or 10-second reel. Yeah.
So people have been missing a lot of action that has been happening behind the scenes.
When we get into college, there's this typical, there's this thing which we usually have as teenagers, and I'm sure you're older to me, much better, that our time is precious. I don't want to go into clubs that, maybe if I waste my time over there, maybe if I do that, what if I fail? Like, I don't want to waste my time. I want to do something, where suddenly, like, I'm set. And, that kind of mindset and something like that with failure. So,
Yes.
how do you kind of normalize failure? Where in today's world, like, how do you think about failure? Because in today's world, it's more like, failing is not seen as a positive thing. It's, like, you're almost treated as a COVID patient.
True.
Right? So how do you think about like failing, and you tried a lot of things, and probably that didn't work out, and that's not on social media.
Yes.
Right? So how did you go about changing the mindset, or how did you train yourself to try new things without fear of failing?
And like getting stuck.
So let's start with this one of the biggest news. Like you might be hearing like by Jews. I don't take the names. Okay, you can cut it down.
Yeah.
Like there were like multi-million-dollar companies. They've been failing down. Even at that level, companies are failing, and we are still self-doubting ourselves to take that initiative, to take that opportunity to execute, right? And people who thinks clubs are useless, you are wrong. Whatever I am today is because of only clubs. This is the first priority on my habits and what I'm been executing. These are the kind of people where you get the top executors. People are not verifying all this study material, all these things. Look, GPA is just one line in your resume. GPA is important, but along with GPA, there are like multiple skill sets important for the real world. So that's what we've been missing. So if you go to the clubs, you will get connections who are beyond their energy, high level energy guys, we say that, and who hustle all the time. They don't lose any energy even at a single point. They push themselves. These kind of people you get. When you're in the club, you get a kind of people who pull you and push you towards your skill set or towards your goals. Clubs are the best things you can participate and try to be in as many as clubs you can.
And with regards to failure, what do you have to say about that? When we
Yes, sir.
yeah.
There were like one of the hyper visual I gone through. We all think success is the opposite of failure, right? But there is a one hyper visual. It is a kind of like brick. It is a part of the success where success, failure. It builds a strong wall. It builds a strong wall of the process, the learnings. So it is not opposite of the success, but it is a part of the success.
Yeah, that's a great way you put it.
If you think back, like Edison, he discovered the bulb 1,000 times, right?
Yes.
So it's like based on the information he failed in,
Yes,
according to the
yes.
world.
But he got the base,
So he built up upon that information. So
Yes.
he knows that this reaction A plus B is giving me C.
True.
So now he's not going to do A plus B.
Yes.
He knows that, and now he's going to try something else.
Yes.
So that's a very nice way you put it. That success and failures are not opposite. They are like
Part of the success.
they are part of each other. They kind of take each other to
Yes.
together. They are in union, like the yin and yang.
And nowadays it's getting normalized. I'm very happy for that. People are not taking very deeply. They're taking this as a step to learn, as a lesson. And I'm happy for the new normal situation in the after COVID period.
And COVID has opened up, like many, doors to people,
Yes.
with regards to mental health. And you recently put up a post about mental health. And
Yes.
why don't you tell about, like I want to dive into a lot of people thinks, on being an entrepreneur is like, fancy cameras and like a good office and everything. Why don't you tell about like what mental health and how like the situation of an entrepreneur? A lot of people don't understand that.
A lot of the times I felt like I'm physically strong, mentally strong, like I'm having this energy, right? I might not feel like I'm mentally some sort of fail. So when I had on this trip called Dubai trip for the GITEX 3.0, one of the multiple conferences will happen at the time. So there is one startup called Newfun, where these people read these electromagnetic signals from the brain and read your focus levels, read your mental levels, what you've been going through. So I put up that device on my head. They tried for 2 times. They shocked themselves, saying that what are the problems you are into, what is the kind of tensions you've been carrying. Like in our day-to-day things, we never share our problems with other people. We might think what others might think, what they're gonna judge you about. So this is the kind of belief there is among like different students or Even myself, I don't want to share my problems with other people because I don't want him to carry my weight. So these are kind of thing happen, and then I realized the importance of the mental health. If you are mentally active here, if you are not even physically fit, you will be physically active. So being mentally health is super 100x time important than physical health.
So how as an entrepreneur, you are taking steps to improve your mental health?
So
Is it
since
meditation or
from
something?
so many like 1 or 2 months after this new funny test, I got to know like my focus levels are very bad, which is around like 2 to 3 seconds, very bad. The attention span changes like rapidly. I cannot able to focus very deeply. So then I started reading books, taking meditation, having a long walks. So there is this one thing I do. Instead of booking Rapido from my home to metro to here office, I prefer taking walk. So while reading book or while listening some sort of podcast.
Yeah. So I think
This one entrepreneur by the name I don't recall, Noah Kagan, the CEO of AppSumo.
Okay.
AppSumo. And he talks about something where entrepreneurs, as they're leveling up, the moment they become CEOs, and eventually when they're climbing the ladder, their life becomes less noisy.
Yes.
As in they don't, while they're driving the car, instead of listening to the music, they're probably just driving it normally, just trying to get that mental clarity.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of times we numb ourselves with Instagram reels, instead of just sitting and reflecting on our state. We kind of get with very engrossed with the notification.
It's like a drug addiction, the Instagram in recent days, so much. Yeah. Why not? The Instagram has been paying these people like crores of packages. What is their work to make you addict?
Yeah.
They are paying that much of amount to them, right? They have to make a justification for their work, and they've been doing absolutely fine.
Yeah.
And whatever you're doing with the Instagram, all these things.
So this is what you're hearing from the entrepreneur inside. This is the behind the scenes. And a lot of people using Instagram, they probably don't know that the reason why people are having big salaries is because you should use Instagram.
Yeah.
And that's why we have a long form podcast though. So that means if you're staying up till now, that means you have a good attention span. So you're doing well. And now with this, I want to move into, you started a couple of initiatives during college. You had Feed Buzz, and then you were also there in Feature India, and now presently at Look Cafe. So why don't you tell people, and next thing as well.
Yes.
So why don't you tell people a little bit about how this initially started?
The feedback idea is just not my problem. It was personally my problem. And what actually the story is, in the COVID time, there is a one WhatsApp group where people been selling the courses, the tricks or course coupons. It's all available for free, and there is no platform for students where to engage. There is very few platforms, but not very known for everyone. So where we built this WhatsApp group, in just 1 week we onboarded around like 200 plus people without any promotion, just the statuses or inviting by another people. It is like a give and take platform. You give some resources, help other people, you take something from us. That kind of platform. We had a team of like multiple people like Sai Kiran, Anvita, and many other people helped in this. Lohit, I co-founded with him. I don't say it as like some startup, but it is community for the people, and where they can learn and earn. And out of that, around 10 messages averagely, 6 to 8 messages I got on like, I have the skills, I have no time, how to earn. I have no skills, I have time, how to earn. So there is this kind of problem people been facing, the students. They have like multiple miscellaneous expenses, and if they go on to like the freelance platforms like Fiverr, Upwork,
Saturated.
it is overcrowded with the professionals and highly marketing. There is nowhere you get the spotlight. So that's why we thought like building a student platform where completely end to end. It is like peer teaching. If there is a GDSC lead, he already cracked how to become a GDSC lead. You can learn from him. If there is a person who cracked Amazon, you can learn from him how to get into Amazon. So he already cracked that reference, right? You can take it and put a step forward. This is a kind of community, but due to academics, the personal works and personal goals, it's saturated with the time. It went to the stealth mode. It is not failed or not closed. It is on stealth mode. And there onwards, I got opportunity to as a technical blog writer at TechStappen. There, my technical journey started with the startups, all these things from one of my senior called Nitya Timarajan. She's like completely a human guide for me, the initial mentor. There I started and working. Then my position developed to strategic lead. Then I moved to Feature India, one more venture of the Nityas. Worked as a CTO there, built a platform, worked on that platform. There it all started. And the next thing, while I'm building the Feedverse platform, I wanted to bring the inspiration to the community. So there is one guy called Vedant. Right now he's my co-founder. He been doing like amazing stuff in the industry. While he was 16, he started a company called Nextin to globally solve the problems, not just locally, the global problems like global warming or the e-waste or sustainability goals, all these things. Then I saw him on the LinkedIn. I thought like inviting on him to the podcast, same like this. We shared our thoughts, and then I joined there as a CTO and co-founder to impact more people. That's how it all started. And there is one more thing called Save Blog. It is started from the college, from the hackathon. So right now in the market, we don't have any nominee system for the blockchain. If you lost your wallet details, if you lost your credentials, your money is gone. There have been like 100 million or billions of dollars of NFTs where they lost due to losing of credentials, unaccidental deaths or something like that. So we built a nominee system for that, for crypto assets and the digital wallets. We won multiple national awards, but no one gave the funding. Everywhere we go, we've been studying in the first or second or third place, but no one giving us the funding. So it is a capital required thing. So we put it on the stealth mode again. So there is like multiple distractions came in and go out. So that's the one thing. If you are working on one thing, give out your 100%. So even if you want to plan out or do something, second thing, do 1 or 2 things max. Like putting your 5% of energy on the second thing and 9% of the energy on the first thing. That's how it works. And this I learned after wasting 4 years, being to multiple conferences, summits, hackathon. So don't waste your time.
How did you end up at this school office? Tell us about that.
This one.
Yeah.
So there we started working with the next team, the Vedant. So there we've been actively posting on the LinkedIn. From there again I got the opportunity to work as a Luke FM to solve this problem technically to develop the platform. So thought like these are all failing at the time. They were not giving it. So one of the big problem the many startup founders will face already faced. Now the current era we live in, we can easily able to build the products, but not able to monetize that. So this is what I want to learn from the industry. That's where I start like, chalo, I put it all in the stealth mode. I go and get some experience, then I will start on my own. So that's why all it started from the LinkedIn. So there were like whatever the opportunities I got, 2 things. One is from the club, second is from the LinkedIn.
How are you feeling, working at Luke Cafe, given the mission they have?
It is big. Sometimes I feel I might carry that mission forward, but that the problem what we were working through, like the problem which is very big. So I wanted to solve that problem. That's the only goal, that's the only drive which been driving all this time. Right now, if we talk about the numbers, 2.6 billion people don't have the toilets access, and half of the billion people don't have the knowledge on the sanitation and hygiene. So that's where we wanted to promote aware people on the sanitation and give them access to the toilets across India and across globe. And from here I've been learned many lessons which I couldn't learn on my own startup. So many people think that if I can able to start my own startup, I can mint so much of money from the market, burn money, all these things. First, do the startup because startup builds you. But parallelly, if you're not from any financial or business background, try to gain that experience from the industry, working as an intern or a full-time or whatever you can name it. So try to get that parallel industry experience in order to make your startup successful into double.
And I feel, when we were talking about this in the starting as well, where you have big players already in the market, and you can, get you get the opportunity to work with them, and you get the mentorship and everything, and that refines your game. It's like, I start to play cricket and I don't have a coach, and I play with the wrong technique,
Yes.
And that is how I think is the correct technique. And when I do get the coach, it is more hard to correct the wrong technique, because that is how I've
You
been
already molded in that scene.
yeah. So, and when you have someone who is mentoring you early on,
Yes.
the technique is correct. So the moment you are put in a match, the ball is going already outside the boundary.
True.
And with that, the other day we had Abhishek Nath, Abhishek Nath sir, the founder of Ixora Group, and we had a great chat. And he said something which really stood out. He said the only regret, he didn't say the word regret. He said the only thing I wish I did differently was focus on one thing.
Yes. True.
And instead of trying to be jack of all trades, he said, if I did one thing properly, I would have been in a totally different place. And that is, that kind of like flipped the switch in my brain that, someone who is a founder of Ixora Group, like a big company, is giving that advice. And nowadays, we are like, I'm going to start this startup, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to build the next Facebook, Amazon, everything at the same time. And it's kind of crazy.
It is kind of like overhyped, which is very wrong. You can do the multitasking, as I said, one or two things at max. The focus is the key, and the consistency. These are the two lessons which I learned from my past 20 years.
A lot of people come to college. A lot of people go through clubs. A lot of people get opportunities. And very few people become Karthik Nagpuri.
No, they're like
No, you're being humble. But then what do you think are the traits that have landed you opportunities? Like great opportunities, and you are able to help mentor other people as well. So what do you think are the character traits, like what are the traits, or what do you think actually helped you become the person you are today?
Experiment. This is the one lesson I lately learned from Ankur Warikos, the book named called Do Epic Shit. So there is one this lesson tells that college is a place to experiment, not to study. If you want to study, you can go on the YouTube or purchase some course. You can learn it from there. Why you are going to college, wasting like 200 rupees for the attendance or to get the degree paper? No. So there will be like multiple clubs, multiple people to engage with, to know their what actually they have been facing or they are liking, or it is kind of like what you like, what you don't like. All this, if I put in a simple term, college is a place to experiment. It is a lab of chemicals. What you like, what you don't like. So the word,
The main goal?
the characteristics.
Yeah, the traits, character traits.
Reach out to people always. It's not like something, if you are introvert, you can you can text them on the WhatsApp, LinkedIn, connect them on something like that. And there is one thing, one lesson. If you are doing something, show them what you are doing. Tell them. We are not gods. The same lesson, like we've been talking the many times, right? I know what I am by my thoughts. I know what you are by your actions only. So I need to know what you are doing on your social media. I cannot come your home and see, oh, he's reading something. Put some post if you are reading something. Put some achievement post on LinkedIn. Put some failure post on the LinkedIn. No matter, not a big deal. So people get to know what you are going through. So people will be estimating on that basis. I am not a magician, reading your mind, right? So on this way, when you are expressing on this way, when you are acting, people will join your mission, people will join your process. So that's where you learn, that's where you collaborate with other people on the projects. And if you do this one thing, everything will be on the process.
When we share like the entire social media or whatever our community, it becomes like a brainstorming thing. People, giving ideas, little tidbits where you can improve and everything. And this is something I'm really curious about, and I'm sure you all are curious about, is being an entrepreneur is about relationships. So what do you think about, as an entrepreneur, about relationships? Like, do you think, I'll become like the big entrepreneur and then, get into a relationship? Or do you think, like I'll get into a relationship and then, work my way through or you're like, man, I don't think about it.
I definitely know. Because I've been went through all these situations, like not to the true relationship, something like that. If I believe what is the true meaning of the relationship, it has to leverage each other. It may be in terms of like the skill, in terms of like the trust, in terms of the way moving forward ahead. It is leveraging each other. If other is not supporting, it's not called a relation as per my terms. but I never been into any true relationship. I've been gone through multiple what we say
Here and there.
here and there, but it's not true. I always look for this kind of relationship who can leverage me where I can leverage them. So if you are planning some sort of relationship, look for this primary factor. Are they leveraging me? Am I leveraging them? So there you go.
Yeah.
It can be like male, female, or male. It can.
It's 2023, man. Yeah, like everything's changing. So
No, I mean that leveraging. Oh my god.
yeah. So cut this. YouTube, please don't ban me. YouTube, Spotify, please don't ban me. I'm just starting.
They are getting better and better day by day.
Okay.
With the Web3.
Okay, nice. So, so when you went to Dubai and you came, we saw a different Nagpuri. We saw, a monk who sold his Ferrari, and we were like, you even turned vegetarian. And I'm sure a lot of people want to know why did Karthik Nagpuri turn vegetarian?
Simple. The third lesson comes in. The clubs, the LinkedIn, and the third people, the radar. I call it oftenly what kind of radar you live in, that kind of growth you might be getting in your life. It is the same proverb. You are the average of 5 people whom you are staying with, right? If you are living with 5 best fellows, you will be the 6th best fellow. If you are living or traveling or having a journey with the 5 millionaires, you will be the 6th millionaire. You should not be with the 6th millionaire because we don't find them often, but be with the kind of people who are hustling or who are having this positive energy. So these kind of people help you grow. And this kind of example, if you go and stand at Mumbai railway station, something like that, you don't need to go into the train. आप डोर पे बाहर जाके खड़े हो जाओ, people अपने आप अंदर जाएगा. So if you stand at the gate, at the door again, at the station, अपने आप बाहर आ जाएगा because people are pushing you. You're not moving. So you should be in the people who are growing same like you. Keep that like-minded people, the positive energy, and that. What is the one more thing you asked?
Vibe.
Vibe.
No. The one more thing, like I was talking about,
The monk mode.
Yeah, the monk mode.
Vegetarian something.
Yeah.
So previously we were conducting this event called Avinya, the World Level Education Summit in T-Hub. So in T-Hub I was there for 2 months. Previously we were there for 1.5 years, but I stayed day in day out. So there is kind of batch who are all vegetarians. So in the initial days I was taking non-veg, they are taking vegetarian, and few days we were discussing, like we were having debates. Non-vegetarian is best, veg is the best. I'm the one person non-vegetarian, remaining all the vegetarian. And they were telling the benefits. I was telling the veg benefits, non-veg benefits. And with that time, I was convinced. So they convinced me to turn me as a vegetarian, and the benefits, the real true benefits of vegetarian eating veg. That's a part.
And what's about buzzing your hair off? Like, was it necessary?
Yeah. There is a lot of improvement in the room.
So as you're approaching time, we have this thing called the perspective questions. So it's to bring in more.
And I just want to be honest with one more thing, one more second point. Was little airfall also, but the primary priority was the focus. Second was the airfall. So thought like, why don't I go through? I was thinking like past 6 months, I want to go into monk mode, but never been practicing that. So I started. Why should I take the step first? So it all started with that.
Like I said, we'll have this thing called the perspective questions. So it's like 3 questions to bring a lot more perspective in life. So the first question is, if Karthik Nagpuri could go 5 years, 10 years back in time with the same knowledge, what would you do differently?
I would help my peer what exactly the real world is going through, not the marks, not the certificate or something. Certificates, I want to mention this again and again. Certificates, GPAs are all important. Along with that, there are like multiple skill sets are required for the future. It might be like the public speaking, which I'm still bad at, been practicing all the time. And the second thing, leadership skills, or how you convey people, how you lead the team. And third thing, having that routine discipline, not in this cool kind of like you need to wear shoes, socks, all this you need to conquer, but the discipline of the routine, discipline having some sort of common habits where you can journal down, where you can outreach one guy at a time, something like that. Having these daily routines is a real discipline, like time management.
And the second question is, if you could recommend 3 books that changed your life to the people listening out there, what would those 3 books be?
First book, the Bhagavad Gita. This is the kind of book where you get all the different perspective, the answers. I've been hearing this video in Bhagavad Gita, you get all the answers. I think what the stupid questions they've been talking about. So initially I consumed the audio and video content, but I myself like gone through all the scriptures, and it is true, with the mind it changes the perspective, it gives the new perspective to your mind. The second book, if you are in college, if you are doing something building or getting into startup, there is this book called Do Epic Shit along with side the Lean Startup. It is like Quran, Bible, Bhagavad Gita for the startup, the Lean Startup. And the third book, I recently purchased one pocket book, which is the cover is pretty bad, but the content is too good. Maybe the book name called Copycatting One of the Ways to Marketing, and the नीचे लिखा है The Wealthy Way Creation. So it is, in a longer term, your job won't be creating the wealth in terms of like the freedom, how you spend your time, how you spend your money, and the health. So these are the 3 factors how to build that. This book teaches you all these things. If you don't like the big books or long books, these are one kind of book, 3 books you can go through.
So those 3 book, guys, make a note of it, do buy it on Amazon and everywhere. And the thing you see, the last one you mentioned, 3 things: health, wealth, and happiness. Like if you have money and you don't have the health, you can't enjoy it. Health and wealth and happiness, right? And if you have happiness and health, if you don't have the wealth, you can't do anything basically. Like, and the first book as well, Bhagavad Gita. I remember when I was starting the podcast, I used to think it used to be very overwhelming. And then there's this verse in the Bhagavad Gita. It's more like I'll say it in Hindi. It's like or I'll say it in English. It's more like you are entitled to the effort, not the result.
Yes.
You are entitled to pour water into the tree, but not the fruit.
Yes.
And when I kind of read that, everything came into one place, that my goal is to reach out to people, do the podcast, everything,
yes.
And eventually things will turn out. And those kind of things that keep you kind of sane, instead of being all over the place and being anxious and everything.
Yes.
And yeah, those are the 3 books. Do check them out. And the last and final question before we wrap up is...
And should I add one more thing to that?
Sure, please.
So one of my mentor mentioned this, the same thing related to health. So if you are earning, put your health as one number, and whatever you are earning, it might be like millions of dollars, one house, having like rich mansion house, the cars, each and everything, big company, a lot of people. But if you take out this one number, the health, all gets 0.
Yeah.
So give the priority to the health. That's where all this getting the new normal, the new generation is giving very importance to the health, and which is very good. And I got to learn this very lately, and I hope each and every one gives the importance and priority to their health. That's the important part.
And before we wrap up, the last question is, what do you want to be remembered for? When you take the last step on this planet Earth, what do you want people to remember? कि Karthik Nagpuri कैसा बना था?
The service or the impact, what we've been working through. So in the initial days, when I got the opportunity, what I've been working currently as an artificial intelligence student, the final grade, the tech lead, what I got it, a Look Cafe, which is completely opposite side. Which is completely new subject for me, the toilet industry, all these things. In initial days, I thought like, who gonna work at the toilet industry? Who gonna work at the toilet company? What other people might think. So then I recheck and cross-check myself. It is a basic need. Everyone knows it is important, but still people think like a taboo. So that's where I wanted to enter. If there is something I can help with the technology, I can solve this problem with the technology. So to impact people's lives. And there I started onboarded on this journey. It is $1 billion people lives matter. right now, what we've been going through, like Nigeria, India, all these different countries. So if we talk about the Indian stats, more than like 500 million people, it is like very old stats. 15% if we take, more than population of India, USA are open defecating, practicing open defecation, which is very big thing. So we wanted to solve the problem, and I want people to take this as a positive thing, not as a taboo or the different industry, something like that. And yeah, people need to take this as a new normal or something new.
And that is what you want to be remembered for, that is impacting people.
Yes. So if I want to be remembered something further, be an impactful person, what you've been going through your life. You should be at least helpful for the one, or at least not one is my very small number, at least 1 lakh. You should be remembered for 1 lakh people. They should mourn for you when you die. That's what I've been working.
Yeah, like you said, like impacting people's lives, and when you're gone, people will remember that this is the kind of person who changed my life. Okay. And do you have any last words for the audience, people listening and watching?
So if you are a student, try to juice out the college, the club, whatever you are into. Try to juice out the opportunities as much as you can. It may be like conduct event, go and conduct event, because if the company want to come in and conduct an event, it will take around like 30 to 50,000 rupees. But if you are in a club, you have a chance to conduct an event for free. You can use these people as an experiment for your growth, or you can help them. Or if you are coming to startup, if you are beginner, try to get the real-time experience parallelly. I don't say you need to quit your startup or something like that, but try to get the real-time industry experience from the real-time world, and try to always maintain or have a mentor in your life, because these are kind of people, and maintain one mentor who already did that, or who already have the experience in that field. That kind of real people gives the real advice and will put you in the right direction.
So Karthik, where is the best place people can come in contact with you, get in touch with you?
I'm alive on all social media platforms. I'm digitally very active on the LinkedIn, Instagram and Twitter. Instagram I use for the documenting my journey. Twitter I share my thoughts. LinkedIn for the achievements and the failures, and providing opportunities and for getting my opportunities there from this. So you can search for the Karthik Nagpuri on all platforms. That's where I'm surfing all the time.
So people listening and watching, this brings us to the end of the interview. I hope you guys learned something out of this. If you did, let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, go check out Karthik Nagpuri, or also go buy the books from Amazon, Audible, whatever, wherever you read. Until then, stay blessed, keep taking action. I'll be back in the next episode. See you, love you, bye bye, take care.